you don't have the effing rank to be asking about the leader's wife.
It's been over 15 years that anyone has really seen her in the public light. The religion itself seems to lend credence to control, subserviency for people, and never questioning any of the higher ups in their decisions. Everybody knows Tom Cruise. I mean, literally, everybody knows Tom Cruise. Everybody knows him from the way he does his own stunts and the fact that he has all these movies. Mission Impossible, you name it. Jack Reacher, everybody knows Tom Cruise. But does everybody know Tom Cruise? Or does everybody just know who Tom Cruise is? You see, there's a big difference because I think what we like to do is conflate the two. That because you've seen him in a movie and you know he's an actor and he still looks young and he can do his own stunts, that you know Tom Cruise. Well, unfortunately, we don't know Tom Cruise. And there's a whole nother side to Tom Cruise that I don't think many are talking about. There is one person who is talking about it, and not just about Tom Cruise, but the organization that he belongs to. I guess some people call it a religion, and that'd be Scientology. Leah Remini has been coming forward talking a lot about the issues that she encountered while trying to get answers from the Church of Scientology.
And you work there and you sign a billion-year contract.
A billion-year contract.
Correct.
And you, as a child, signed this contract.
Correct.
Now, this all started when she had the audacity to question the church and its methods, and one thing in particular, the absenteeism of the leader's wife. Now, the leader, David Miscavige, is a interesting guy, very interesting guy. And when you look into his history, it is littered with all kinds of question marks with no answers on the other end. One of those questions that Leah asked was, where your wife at?
Where is Shelly? I think it's weird that she's not here. And he said, you don't have the effing rank to be asking about the leader's wife.
And the instant she asked that, a whole cavalcade of problems fell on her head. You see, this all stemmed from when she went to the wedding of said Tom Cruise in Italy. Massive wedding. Tom Cruise is one of the top figures in Scientology, and he had this wedding with Katie Holmes, and it was everybody from Scientology was there. The head honcho, everyone. Minus one person. Who was that person? The wife. The wife was nowhere to be found. Shelly Miscavige was gone. Nobody saw her. She was never there, but for some reason, this event was so massive that everybody else from Scientology was. Now, there have been some, I guess you can call them, investigations into her whereabouts. Police even went to the home of David to find out where she was, and they came away saying, we didn't find nothing. Now, that's not to say they didn't find nothing. That's just to say they didn't find anything. So nobody really knows where she's at. It's been over 15 years that anyone has really seen her in the public light. What he told people was, hey, she just decided not to be in the public light, and I prefer to keep her from public light. Now, if you look at that on the surface, you may think, that's a good thing. He's protecting his wife. What is he? Is the head guy of Scientology protecting his wife when everybody else's wife is out there being exposed? If he really did care about whether or not wives were bullied, harassed, messed with, seen in a negative light, would he be the only one hiding his wife? Or is this something that's built into Scientology where you don't have a public wife? But then why would Tom Cruise be so public about his affections towards the multiple wives that he's had? So Leah raises some very important questions. And it's not necessarily so that people will understand Scientology more. It is more so to understand the effects of religion on people. And I don't mean Christianity, and I don't mean God. I mean religion. Scientology stems from a guy named L. Ron Hubbard. If you don't know who L. Ron Hubbard is or was, sorry, he's dead now. He was an author who came up with this idea of Scientology. It's not man and God. It is man becoming more like God. Reincarnation, controlling planets, controlling your destiny, manifestation. Any sort of spiritualistic thing you can think of, it's in Scientology. We control our own future. We can create new futures. We can create new realities, in fact. We're going to be reborn, but not just reborn. We're reborn better because every time we come back in a better state. This is the kind of mindset that he came up with. Now, it reminds me an awful lot like his book. He had a book called The Omnibus and the Mountain of Madness, and it seems like he spent way too much time on the Mountain of Madness because the religion itself seems to lend credence to control, subserviency for people, and never questioning any of the higher ups in their decisions. With Tom Cruise, though, he's such an influential character that they've made all efforts to keep him not just happy but placated in order to stay in Scientology. Look, Tom is one of the top ones in Scientology in terms of pushing it, bringing folks in, and following nearly every mantra of it to the T. This has been him since he's joined. If you remember that interview he did with Oprah, jumping on the couch when he was getting married to Katie Holmes, and he was going absolutely crazy, people thought that Tom was losing marbles. We might not have been far off because he was involved in Scientology. So it may be very well that the indoctrination process that was there has taken full and unadulterated roots. And when people like Leah has come forward to ask questions about it, all of a sudden, she's being blackballed, shut up, shut down, put to the side. Why? If your religion is so transparent and real, why can it not stand up to scrutiny from someone who's been on the inside of it? What's your purpose? What happened to Shelly? Why wasn't she there at the wedding? What is the true purpose of Scientology? Why do you have such stringent rules? Why is it that we can't ask questions of the leaders? What if we want to know more about it, but you are keeping us from knowing more about it because you refuse to answer certain questions? My theory is this, and it's probably no different than the Catholic Church. We're allowing you to come in, but you can only know so much. You see, the inner workings of how we control people, you should not be talking about. You don't need to know what the Pope do, and you don't need to know what David do. What he's doing for the good of Scientology and anyone who wants to join. This is how the operation seems to be copied in other religions. But for Scientology, they have one massive character that seems to cover, even, I think he might even be bigger than David. Could he be being groomed to take the spot that David's in? Tom Cruise, I mean, to become the eventual leader of Scientology. And the questions that Remy is asking, you shouldn't be asking. Maybe you should just be silent. If you want to leave, leave. But if you're going to come here, you better not talk to us. Otherwise, we will brand you what we want you to be, which is crazy or way too intrusive into our religion, and we want you shut up. I don't know what will happen to Leah. But because of the type of questions he's asking, having been on the inside, seems to be ruffling a lot of feathers. And the kinds of feathers it's ruffling is not the safe kind. I'm not saying Tom Cruise will issue a hit on Leah. I'm not saying David will issue a hit on Leah. I am saying this, though. They have threatened her enough to not believe that it's too far-fetched. Them putting something out on her can't be unbelievable to me with the extent that they will go through just for asking about someone's wife, especially the leader of the position that you say you entered into. I should know something. I guess in their minds, knowing something means you don't need to know that. I guess that's knowing something. But what will really come of it, we don't know, because not even the cops are allowed to really investigate this stuff because she's just not in the public light. That doesn't mean she's missing, doesn't mean she's dead, doesn't mean she ran away, doesn't mean she's gone. It doesn't mean anything other than I don't want my wife in the public light. This story will be very interesting to follow, mostly because it involves some very high profile people in the public light. But more so, this could actually end up meaning either the rise or the fall of this thing called Scientology. And we're here for it. We'll keep you posted on what we find out.